All right, let's take a look now at our 5 observations as we close out this edition of Training Camp Live, and it's brought to you by Community America Credit Union. And the first one is Chiefs, physical. Honestly, when you look at the Kansas City Chiefs, I think one of the more underrated parts of this team is, and because they were out here in pads for the first time since February 2nd, this is a more physical team than people give them credit for, and it's an extension of their head coach.
We get caught up in the idea that the Chiefs are a track team, and they are. Tons of speed out there, but they're also extremely physical. And what it boils down to is finishing games. Who could be more physical toward the end of a ball game? So the idea is when the other team is huffing and puffing, you're leading a double-digit comeback in the Super Bowl. So that physicality that can help you later on in the season and help you win a championship, it starts right now in pads.
Second point, hungry, healthy. Yes, the Chiefs are generally healthy. Guys missed practice today. Coach is going to give you, he's very transparent about it. He'll give you the report every day during his post-practice news conference that we'll have. But this is also a team that's hungry. We keep getting repeated quotes from these guys that having the edge. We heard it from Kelsey. We heard it from Coach.
And the idea there is when you come into a camp, you want to have a fresh slate. You want to be able to go after the season and, in the Chiefs' case, defend their title. And to have that relative healthiness is really a big thing. Think about Patrick Mahomes having that nagging ankle injury last year. You know, he's had a full offseason now to get better from that. And also guys that maybe we've forgotten about, guys like Darrell Williams who got hurt in the middle of the season. And also a big one that we'll talk about later, Alex Okafor is back and healthy out here. That's a big addition to the Chiefs' pass rush.
Third observation, and this, I'm waiting for one of you to have a fantasy league with offensive linemen, because that's how you win football games. And it's the OLDL. When you take a look at the camp requirement, we saw it today. First time in pads, they're out there. Now this is, we'll get into it more, but this is a requirement to watch during training camp because seasons are won and lost in those drills out here.
So I'm watching Patrick Mahomes throw bombs to Tyreek Hill, and Mitch is way over here making sure he's watching these one-on-one drills. It's pretty funny to watch. He's really into it. And for good reason. I mean, that's where games are won, in these trenches. You think about the best teams in football. They're winning games in the trenches. And it's really toughness and technique is what you get out of these things. The perfect example of that's Mitchell Schwartz. Best technique in the business, and he's the toughest guy in the business, too. He's missed, what, one snap his entire career?
And another observation, the other specialists. On one of our later shows, we'll jump into the specialists, the kicker, punter, long snapper. It's a big story this year, but it's the other specialists, and those are the guys that are the gunners. They play on special teams. The Chiefs right now, I want to ask Dave Tobe about it because it seems like it's the best core that Tobe's had in 8 years here.
Well, Mitch, I know you know this. Since Dave Tobe came to town in 2013, the Chiefs have allowed 0 kick and punt return touchdowns. That's unbelievable. Atlanta Falcons are the only other team in the league to do that. And that's not just because you have, certain plug-and-play guys. It's because you have continuity over the years. And you're right. This past year, they're bringing a lot of those guys back. Unheralded guys. You don't really hear about them much, but they make a big difference in the end. And we'll talk about a guy that we've added, Antonio Hamilton, who could make that group even better.
All right, final one. Plays in pads. When the pads come on, some guys zoom. Other guys recoil. We've seen it for years and years and years in the National Football League. First day in pads, double meaning here. Who can make plays and then who plays fast in pads?
I think last year, the best example of that's probably Juan Thornhill. Rookie comes in pads, and he's just making plays all over the place, and that carried into the regular season. So when he wasn't on the bubble, but for guys that are on the roster bubble or trying to move up the depth chart, what can they do to impress this coaching staff? How can they look fast in pads? Can they be around the ball? We've seen some guys like Garrick Dieter made a great catch a few days ago. Armani Watts had a great pass pickup a few days ago. Plays needs to increase even further.